Hi, my name is Don Lashbers. I live up here at Ethel, and we're in the cow business up here. We've been in this business since 1956, one way or the other. And I say one way or the other because in that time we've been in the mama cow business, the stocker business. We've raised roping calves for a while. We've milked cows for 12 years. We feel like that gives us a little bit of experience, that we know a little bit about what we're doing. And we want to take this opportunity to share some of our thoughts and ideas with you. One thing all of us in agriculture have in common, whether we be old-timers, part-timers, or weekend farmers, is that we want to be successful. The dream comes before the plan, but to make that dream a reality, we have to have a plan. And one of the things that we think you need to start with is an inventory of resources. An inventory of resources is no more than going over your place and looking to see what you have to work with now. That's what we want to do now. We're going to start with what we feel like is the most important. Talk about 8 items down to not necessarily the least important, but what we think you need to check before you really commit yourself to this. Soil is the first thing on this list of this inventory of resources. You need to know about your soil. The first thing you need to do really probably is to take a soil test. Remember this, the foundation that you build on is the soil. So if your soil's lacking, nothing else is going to be like it should be. The second thing on our list of this inventory of resources is your pasture. Look at your pasture. See what your pasture is today, not what it will be tomorrow, what it will be 6 weeks from now. What do you have to work with today? And this is one of the places you want to be honest with yourself. You're not going to cheat anybody but yourself. Let's talk about the water. That's the next thing. The water supply is critical. In all your pasture management schemes, the availability of water is very, very critical. You want a water supply that is clean, plentiful, and dependable. And one of the things that's kind of hard for some people to understand, but you don't want your cattle to drink water that you wouldn't drink. Fencing is very important. Check your fences. You don't want to put cattle on a place that you're going to have to be looking for them tomorrow. Fencing makes good neighbors. You don't want to fall out with your folks next door because your cattle are getting across the fence. Power fencing works very well for us. If you look at the cost of electric fence, it's very, very cost effective. It gives you more management possibilities. That's another thing that we'll really get into in detail later on. But fences cannot be stressed enough how important they are. You don't want to spend more than you can get back. You want to be very cost effective in your operations. It could be the weak link of your operation. There's things you want to do you can't possibly afford, so you have to scale back a little bit. Credit is a tool. Use it wisely and seldom. All right, labor. Let's talk about labor. How hard do you want to work? Plan your operation to where it's sustainable. And I have understood and learned over the years, you can't build a sustainable operation on unsustainable effort. What that simply means is what you can do today if you're 25 years old, you won't be able to do when you're 55 years old. So plan your operation from the start to where you'll be able to operate it efficiently 25, 30 years down the road. The next thing on this list is handling facilities, catch pens. It's very frustrating to be a cattle owner and not be able to do for your animals what you need to do because you don't have a place to restrain them. It doesn't have to be a high dollar expensive thing, just something that is workable, something that you can use to keep yourself and your animals from being hurt. If it's all possible and you can locate that catch pen in a traffic lane where the cattle go through it, that's going to give you a lot less trouble getting the cattle in and out of the catch pen. Okay, we're at the end and we're going to talk about cows now. This probably will have been for a lot of people a place to start. But think about it a minute. It takes a trip to the sale barn to get in or out of the cow business. All these other things have to be done before you can buy the cattle. The cattle should be of your choice, what you want, not necessarily what your neighbor raises or what the man in the magazine tells you to raise. buy the kind of cattle and deal with the kind of cattle that you like, that you feel comfortable with, because you're the guy that's going to have to work with them. Now that you've completed this very basic inventory of resources, it's time to begin to make a plan. And the idea of the plan is to make all the parts come together to create a whole. And what you're trying to do then is to put everything in some kind of sequence and end up with a profitable, sustainable grass farm. In future videos, we will cover these topics in more detail. For more information about Louisiana Farmers and Ranchers and Growers Association, find us on Facebook.